Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of the beginner Unity 2D Sunnyline 2D series, or whatever I'm calling it. So, last episode I forgot something in the rigid body, and that we can't have a camera movement, so how are we gonna test if we can even make these jumps without having a camera be able to move in? I just noticed I messed up there. Oops. There it goes, all fixed. So, what we're first going to do is in our constraints here, we're going to freeze the Z rotation. That's because here, I'll show you what happens if we don't, if you didn't already experience it yourself. So if we jump here, we hit the corner, boom. We start rotating this, and yeah, we can also hold ourselves against the wall because of how our jump works. But we can fix that later on. So, what we're going to do, take out constraints, change it to Z. I also got the is jumping working a tiny bit. Look. Tiny bit working. Yeah, I wasn't able to get back up there. But yeah, if you look here, we do not start rotating. Also, it's bright. You got jump working, sort of. So this is what I did for now. That's physically all I did. I just added if input is jump and touching ground is jumping, invoke on ground for 1F. So that's float is 1 second, and the on ground is jumping equals false. So after 1 second of us being in the air, it will change is jumping to false, which there is a better way to fix this once we set up the animation. So first what we're going to do is, we're actually going to get our camera moving the player. So we're going to make a new component and call it camera controller. Then let's just create and add that and load it up. First thing we are going to do is a serialized field private transformation layer. And we're not going to have a start update. Okay, so after you get a start field and do the private transform play, we're going to do transform.position equals new vector3 player.position.x. Actually, we're going to have our player be lowercase because it does not need to be capitalized. Player.transform.position.y. Oops. And player.position.z. Okay. So once it's saved and load, we'll go into load up. It's not showing up. Change that to public, and now it shows up. That is odd. It usually is supposed to show up when it's a serialized field. Yeah, it's staying up now, which is odd. But once you click play, okay, it's odd. The camera is not wanting to work. That is odd. So I'm going to do transform.position.y and transform.position.z. Because we really only need to be following the X for now. There it goes. Now back, and I got the y-axis working. But what we did last time has the y-axis working. But I'm gonna switch it up so I'm plus 2.5. F. Because once again, if you use decimals, you have to use a float. Remember that. And look, it's going pretty well. Yeah, but for now, I think I'm just going to leave it at how I had it, leaving. Okay, for now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it where it is, so it's only following the x-axis. You guys can do whatever you want, but I'm leaving it to follow the x-axis. So you can see we can move and we can rotate. You know, I'm going to fall there, but that does not matter. So the main focus of today's episode is be getting some animations done. So I'm going to go into Window, Animation, and open up the animation window. And this is how we create animations. Then go to Window, Animation, Animator. This is how we create an animator of anything. So the first thing I have to do is make an animator and have a controller attached, which actually no, I'm gonna delete this first. Because the first thing I'm gonna do is go to our sprites, go to our player, scripts, not scripts, Sunnyland I meant. Sorry about that, sprites, player, then idle. So we're not going to use these, just going to delete them. Then we're going to go to right click create. We're going to create an animation called idle. And I'm just going to leave this down here for now. Leave this here. Not already, make sure that your pixels per unit is set to 16. So we're going to go on idle. Then we'll take idle, drag it onto the player, because then this will automatically create the player controller we need for the animator. And I'm just going to move this up here to be up here with everything else. So now we can click on player, copy all this, drag into our animation, go 15 seconds, and what a good thing to do is, in most cases, have it, so we're going to use intervals of 5 for this. It doesn't matter if you're like using something else. Go and review the animation as many times as you want. Make sure it looks good. See, look, this is how our guy looks, and I think it looks good like this. This is how the original tutorial found. This is the tutorial that I found that's outdated now does it, and this is what I like. It looks good. Even when I was making my own game competition, I did something where I put the last frame in the back 1 second below the whatever interval you're doing. If you're doing an interval, because all you can do is like highlight them, have the whole list here, just like drag them out to like to all an even spot or whatever you think looks good. But we're gonna do intervals like this, and voila, it looks nice. Now, there is 2 ways. I'm going to actually move this back down now. Now then, there's 2 ways we can technically do this. So, actually the first thing we gotta do is set this up right here. Actually, no, we don't set anything up here. Not yet. Gotta go back to our idle here and check loop time, because we want this animation to loop. So you're going to be constantly doing this, and I actually think the camera is a bit too zoomed out. So if you ever want to change this, you go to the size here, and I'm going to change it to like 5.5. It'll be zoomed in, a bit zoomed in more, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Depends on what you want it to do, but once again, this is only a temporary thing for the camera. Once you go further down, I'll show you a much better way to do the camera. But for now, we're just going to do this simple step for now, because once again, I want you guys to learn from experience and not just from listening and copying what I do. So, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make a running animation. Now, running has a lot more pictures to it, and once again, I'm going to delete these two and create an animation called run. Once again, I'm going to drag and drop it into the player. Once again, I'm going to leave it right there. So drag, click on the player again, go run by clicking the arrow, then drag all of them here. Then I'm going to have them all split up into groups of 10, groups of 5, then have the last one at 1 second behind. And I did not change these ones. So I can see it's going to be like super shrunk. We're in game. There. Now, once we click play, boom, we have a good running animation. Now, if you click play, we're not running when we're moving. And I forgot to do this. Loop time. You have to do this every time for if you want an animation to loop or not. As you can see, like, we're not running. Like, why are we not running? And why did this grow big again? I usually shrink this down to have a much larger scene view. Okay, go to animator. You can see this is not connected anywhere. And why is it not connected anywhere? Because we didn't set anything up. So in here, to set the animations, you can either do like make a transition going back and forth, then set some list and whatnot, but no. We're not going to do that, because that is messy, and it can be confusing. I'll show you this with these two animations only, but everything else, I'm just immediately switching it to a nice cleaner, some tiny bit more complicated, but not really. So, first thing I'm gonna do is make a finite. Okay, in player controller here, the first thing I'm gonna do is make a finite state machine. Okay, so to start this, I'm just gonna go down here and do a private enum. And enum does not really say anything. I really don't know how to explain the enum states. But for state, here the definition is naming rule violation. These words must begin with uppercase characters. So state, so private enum states. I'm going to do parentheses. Wait, no, those are brackets. Yeah, I don't remember. And I really don't care. Just remember to use these. I'm going to do idle, run, and jump for now. Then we can just go to states. Now you can see these have numbers on them. These are going to be important to remember. Then we're going to do a private state equals state.idle. I misspelled idle. Okay, see what I did wrong. Capitalization is important. This is meant to be a capitalized state. And then we got state.idle. Here, this is capitalized as lowercase, this is capitalized again. So that's how we set up the finite state machine and hashtag. I'm going to show you hashtag regions right now, and hashtag end region. It's region finite state machine. And boom. You have our own little box where everything's going to be set up just to make things look neat. And yeah, I'm going to do it again for here just to make things look neat. Right, you guys don't have to do this, but it just makes things look nicer and you're able to find stuff tiny bit more easier. Just a tiny bit, I'd say. You can also do the same thing in the inspector window, but I don't know what it's called. I honestly forgot. I have to look into that again, see how you separate that in the inspector window, because we will need that when doing sounds, because it'd be a lot easier to help identify which music is which in the inspector window. Okay, so I'm going to save this, then head back to Unity. And over here, we're going to make a new state called, well, a new parameter called integer and name it state. There's a y state because that's going to be important. Now, if we do this here, we're going to make two transitions, one going into run and one going back to idle. This will be important later on. Actually, never mind. I want to do that now. So I'm going to do state equals 1. And that's at 1. And if you have state equals 0, or we can just do not equal to 1. I don't remember. And I really don't care. Just remember to use these. I'm going to do idle, run, and jump for now. And we can just go to states. Now you can see these have numbers on them. These are going to be important to remember. Then we're going to do a private state equals state.idle. I misspelled idle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do down here, we're going to do, actually going to close this and make a new void. So void animation state, and we may change this later. We gotta make this a private void animation state. Okay, so after make this a private animation state, we are going to set a function up here, and this is just a call animation state. And movement function. And what did I do? Oh yeah, you don't do that, you just do this. I made a mistake there. Then I'm going to do anim.set integer. That's why we have this set up. And our first thing into IG will be state integer state. So this is how we're going to call the states when we're doing stuff like this. So first we're going to do if state equals state jumping, and we're not going to do anything for now because we don't have that set up. So we're going to do else if mathf that absolute. Yeah, when we find the absolute math and inputting into the math.abs, and do rb.velocity.x, and it's going to be greater than mathx.epsilon, which is map, and epsilon is a tiny float value that's only going to be right here. So we're going to do this. We're going to detect velocity less than 0.1. If I remember correctly. And when that happens, we're going to go to state equals state dot running. Oh, state dot run. I'm actually going to change the state dot running just to be safe. Then else state equals state dot idle. These are all going to be lowercase. And why is that having an issue there? Oh. That was my mistake. We're supposed to use parentheses, not the brackets. Too used to doing calculus and math using the brackets. And we did not, I did not capitalize that. Okay. And upon doing this, we should have our running locking is severely messed up. Okay, this is where our mistake is. So if you have an NPC moving at a speed greater than 1, you should use mathf.epsilon, but since we're moving at 5, what is it, 8? We are moving at a speed of Yeah, 8. We do not want to do that, so I'm going to do 2F for now. We may go slow, we may change it, but we should have a better rate. Yeah, look, we're stopping instantly. We are not sliding, we have an instant stop. Then again, this is just if you don't want to do slide. I'm not doing a slide unless we're jumping. And I like the jump slide. Maybe I'm not going to have the walking slide because this gives a little bit more movement control. I don't know, I may turn it off later in the series, may leave it on. Get that out of the way. We will move on to the bigger and better version of this. Only have more animations because right now having it like this is alright, but the more animations you have, the more messier it could become. Though the other one is still a tiny bit messy, it is still better than nothing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is delete these. No, I can't delete that yet, so I'm going to create a empty state and name it state picker. Then I'm going to make this the default state. Have idle here, run here. And we're just going to do make transitions here, here, and make some back. Still a tiny bit messy. So I gotta turn all these off again. I'm gonna do state equals 0, then state not equal to 0, and once again turn all this off, then turn all this off again, not equal to 1 this time, and equals to 1 this time, then again turn all this off. Now if I do that, we should, yep, still switching all that. So, move this back up, go back to our animations here if I got it in the right window. Do that, fix this box here. Then from play, we are going to go to jump. These were not fixed either. Okay, I'm done with that. So now we're going to do is create 2 new animations. That's right, we're doing 2 this time. This one's going to be jump. And you can do Control D to duplicate, F2 to rename, fall. Then just drag and drop them into here. Did we add, yep, jump and fall. These can go down here. Yeah, let's go back in here and add fall. Then I'm going to change this to jumping. Just because I can. So just make sure we have idle, running, jumping, and falling so far. Jump, and change this to jumping. So then here we are going to go to state equals state dot jumping. And then this one will be state equals state dot falling. So this is how we determine when to fall, and this is how we determine when to jump. So, once we do that, we're going to go to our player here, open up jump, and this first one here is going to be a jump animation. So yeah, the jump and fall are just 1 tick animations. I can replay them here. We're just going to do this. And I don't think we need to click them on loop. Let me just test that quick. Yeah, we got to click them on loop. Oh wait, we don't have them set up, that's why it's not working. Oops, so set these up again and try to do this without me if you can. If not, I'm just gonna do these super quick. So you guys gotta slow down the video if you want to see what I'm doing if you don't remember. Alright. I am back and I fixed it. I think. Yeah, so I mess up the code a lot, but it should be an else if statement here. So look at this for now. This is all one code again, and put I mess with this a bit, so I have to turn that back on. Well, other than that, nothing else changed, just this needed to be an if statement, it seems. And while doing that, I want to say this again. I did mess with the animator a bit. So this is just back to the regular state picker. Don't know where I left off because it was like took a long time to fix. But yeah, all this is zeroed out. Exit time is turned off. And yeah. But it seems to be working now. Look, got a slide, got a tiny slide before we come to a stop. And yep, it looks here. So we can't look down here, you can see it's working. We let go, we slide a tiny bit. So we have some momentum, but when we're walking, we do an instant stop. Somewhat more realistic, but yeah, it works, and we still gotta get that done. Maybe later, I don't know, I have to edit this. This may be shorter than the video than last time. But we got some basic animations done. We got a moving camera. You know what, before we do this, let's actually do this. It should not take long. Just need a 2D platform effector. Composite collider used by effector. Turn that on. It should be everything. You can use one way. Should not be you need to turn anything else off. Oh. Yes, we do actually. You have to turn use one way off. Yeah, we just infinitely fall to the void. We can no longer. Oh, actually, no, we can. We should not jump here. And players infinitely falling. Yep. Yeah, you should not be able to fall there. Maybe I did something wrong. See, I'm turning on use one-way grouping and use one way. Yeah, some reason we can come in and out of this and still jump on that. Turn that up. We should not be able to jump on that. Okay, I'm back. So, with the platform effector, we won't be able to hold on to this, but we'll still able to jump up it. That's the only downside to it, so shows somewhat of. I don't really think you can fix the jumping up all that easily. I mean, even in Mario, you can actually. I fell. Mario, you can like jump from a tree, and if you have enough momentum and whatnot, you can so jump between the walls. Try not to jump. Try not to miss, and try not to get too low. But yeah, it will work. And yeah, we got some basic animations shown up. Some basic stuff. You can move, you can jump, you can fall. Got a neat. You have a neat jump, and look, we even. I don't know. Yeah, we actually no, we do move it forward a tiny bit when jumping. And actually, no, we don't. So if we start jumping and moving, like, yeah, we can still jump and move, which isn't really. If you want to make your game's physics, you can actually do that. You can have it set where the horizontal movement can't move when you're jumping, so you do have to, like, you can run and jump, but it'll act like you're not even holding it. So I'm gonna actually do it right now. So jumping, let go. You actually can make it. I fell. See, and try that on the next one. Actually, I'm letting go. And actually let go on that one. So do it. See, look, you do actually get enough momentum, so you can just let go of your movement keys while you're jumping, and you will make it. That depends on your game. It's like if you want to do it so where your movement is not affected by W, A, S, and D, you can. I mean, not W, A, and D control. You can. Like, it works. Be more realistic. That's if you want it to be. So, I don't know. I'm actually sure right now. I'm not going to implement it because I don't want to do that. But if you want to do it, you could just set. Could set over. Which one would it be? You would set these two. You'd switch. You add it to n is jumping equals false. You just add this line of code here into these two lines of code, and you would be able to do both. Here's A and D can't affect which way you're moving when jumping, so you have to jump in that one direction, which would actually make the game a little bit difficult. Saying if you like under jump or over jump, if you go the other way, you could possibly make it back. But that's up to you. I'm showing you it, so try to mess around with that, see if you like it enough. Me personally, I'm not going to use it for this tutorial. But anyways, hope you have a wonderful day, and see you all in the next episode.